I'm a financial controller. Uh, I basically run the accounting and the finance department for the company I work for. It's a small company. I got into trading initially during COVID. Uh, my old manager hit me up. He was trading OTC or over the counter like penny stocks. Made some money in there, and I have an uncle that used to or does trade futures, and he introduced me to the futures market. So yeah, just started trading back in 2022. So been, at it since then. So my uncle, the one that introduced me to trading, he had traded with OneUp before. And he introduced me to OneUp. And at that time, the prop market industry isn't what it is today. Uh, you only had Top Step and OneUp, and Top Step had very rigid rules. It was like a two-step eval. It was more expensive, and then the second step you had like a scaling plan. It was a lot of hoops to jump through. One Up has been and still is pretty straightforward. No dynamic scaling in the eval. Just hit the profit target with the consistency rule. Um, so yeah, the obvious choice was One Up. Even Apex back then wasn't around. 2022. It's crazy how much it's changed since then. But yeah, no, One Up is by far like the most straightforward. Plus, the support is like impeccable. You reach out. I've heard of people waiting days on like sites like Take Profit. One Up, you get connected with somebody in like 2 minutes. You're not a real trader if you don't ever have a moment where, like, if you've never gone through that moment where you want to give up, right? Like, everybody, I think, has to go through that. It's rite of passage. Like, trading is very difficult because it doesn't work until it just clicks one day. It doesn't work together. It all comes together like in one moment. So yeah, like especially when I started with One Up, I blew a lot of evals, a lot of funded accounts before I got like a withdrawal, and even then it was like a small withdrawal, and then I ended up blowing the account shortly after. When you have that moment where you want to give up, you just take a couple of days off and you think about the things that you did wrong, because chances are you want to give up because you're not sticking to your rules. You're not being disciplined. FOMO is either catching you or you're, revenge trading. So the trading style hasn't really changed. I basically trade with the momentum. And, when days it is choppy, I get chopped up quite a bit. What has changed is you take profit when you get it. Before I used to let like trades run forever, and sometimes, most of the time they come back to like break even or you can close for a loss. So what changed was I started taking profit. I let winners run. So I'll have a contract that runs 50 points or 100 points in NQ. Um, and the biggest thing for me personally is I started to size down early on in my trading journey. Through OneUp, I would put on 3 contracts or 5 contracts with the $5,000 drawdown using the $150,000 account. And then you sort of just realize like that's unsustainable. It'll take 1, 2, or 3 bad trades to blow your account. So you scale it down, 1 contract or 2 contracts, and you just have to keep going at it for 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks. Let the account build up before you start to swing for the fences a little bit more. It just sort of helped me realize like what I was going through emotionally, because I was, you know, trading because of FOMO and revenge trading. So now, like, if you're up, say, $2,000 and a couple of trades don't work out, I realize it's better to walk away slightly positive than give it back and maybe even take a small loss. I'm still guilty of that, where I do have days where it does turn red or break even or whatever. But OneUp has taught me it's better to have base hits than like one big day. And I think that's what you have to really like drill is always go for the base hit, because base hits start to add up really, really fast. Next thing you know, you're going to be sizing up within 2 to 4 weeks. And there's other benefits of that. Like you build confidence, which, is hard to come by at times, especially if you're like in a mental rut. OneUp, for the most part, except for, the dynamic scaling and the news rule, they let you do whatever you want. Their strategies or their rules allow a lot of flexibilities and variety of strategies. In addition to that, they process payouts very, very fast. They don't have requirements of like a minimum of 5 trading days, or a consistency rule in the funded account, right? Which sounds like, it's not that big of a deal, but there have been traders that I know that get 3 days in on a minimum 5 day, payout rule. And they end up blowing the account because they get excited that they're close to a payout. They push the account a little bit or whatever. So there are other like mental and emotional roadblocks that come with a variety of rules. So yeah, OneUp is great in that sense. That if you make a lot of money in one day, you could request it all out tomorrow. Yeah, size down. If you think you're going to trade 2 contracts, start with one. Like the getting over that drawdown and building a cushion is the key to being successful at OneUp. And don't kick yourself if if you saw the market really well, then maybe push it a little bit. But at the same time, if you decide to stick to your rules by trading a smaller size, and it could have been a big day had you pushed it, don't kick yourself, because the fact that you stuck to your contract size and you did what you're supposed to do is a huge win in itself. I think it's worth the risk, right? You're not really losing much besides a subscription fee, and you guys have changed the pricing structure too, so it's only 50% up until you pass. But the possibilities are like infinite, especially if you develop a good strategy, become disciplined. It's essentially like a bank. You could start making withdrawals from it if you become really, really good. So it's definitely worth the risk to reward worth it. If you're trading a mini, a broker typically wants about $1,800 or $2,000 minimum, but that gives you no room for a loss. So you need about 5K to trade maybe one mini, 10K for two, 25K for like three. It's not linear because, the losses do get bigger. So you want a bigger buffer when pushing more contracts. So yeah, with OneUp, it's only $175 initial investment until you pass the eval for the 150K account, and then 175 more. But you're getting a quote unquote $5,000 drawdown. Plus, when you get that, say you spend $5,000 on OneUp before you get a funded account or whatever, right? And you're like, well, I could have put that 5,000 into my own brokerage and traded that. Well, your broker is only going to allow you to trade 2 minis in NQ with $5,000, whereas OneUp lets you start off with 5. Not saying you need all 5 again, because it's very important to trade small, but if you do decide to push it one day when you see something, yeah, I'm definitely going to continue working with OneUp. There are some consistency issues that I need to work through myself as a trader. And I think that's what I'm aiming to achieve, is just become more consistent. Sit on my hands a little bit more is one thing I can definitely work on. Like, you don't need to have a trade open every 5, 10, 15 minutes. You could go half an hour without doing anything. Yeah, so there are some aspects that I definitely need to work on, consistency and sitting idle. Okay, so yeah, 73,000 in about 2 or 3 weeks. I had a big day with the day that, what happened that day? Trump announced, it was tariff related news. The market dropped. NASDAQ traded 19,103. It turned around. It ran up on some news that Trump had announced. And then it finished strong because Google and no, it wasn't Google. There were some earnings after too that came out around 1 o'clock, 1:05. That was super bullish. Yeah, it was like a $50,000 day. I withdrew $73,000 from OneUp Trader. I was really relieved. it instilled more confidence, and it made OneUp like my primary prop trading firm, like partner, somebody I want to work with in the future. Yeah, there was no doubt about it at all. As long as you follow the rules, don't break don't break the scaling rule or the news, like OneUp will pay you. Super, super relieved, excited, very excited too. That's a lot of money, and it was it gave me a little bit of confidence, just because it's like, I could possibly do this full time. So the first thing is you have to turn a profit, right? You make the money, you exit and cancel all orders, so you have nothing open. Just close Rhythmic or whatever your trading platform is. And then you send MES an email requesting a withdrawal. And probably within half an hour, maybe an hour at tops, you'll get an email saying that they've received confirmation, or they've received your email and they're confirming it. And then they'll add you to the queue. And then around 5:30, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, you'll get an email from their risk desk saying that the withdrawal has been processed. And I get it before 1 p.m. the same day that the risk desk acknowledges that the withdrawal has been processed. So all in all, takes about 18 hours from your initial email to when the money hits your bank account. After that $50,000 day, I was a little worried that they may say something or whatever, but I'd stuck to the rules, so I was pretty confident. But when you're talking about a lot of money, right? I've had other prop trading firms give me a little bit of trouble. So I was a little worried, but sure enough, I sent the email and the money was in my account the next day. OneUp is definitely the best. Yeah, they're up there. I trade the New York session. The more experienced you get, it might sound cliche, but less is more. I found that if you wait and take 3 to 5 good trades, right? Chances are those 3 to 5 good trades are going to be higher quality trades. You're going to have more conviction. Things are going to line up more instead of taking, say, 10, 15, 20 trades where you're like, I think this is going to happen. I look for momentum in my trades. But the biggest thing I focus on is limiting my number of trades in a day. I go for the 150,000 account because it has a big drawdown. The 50K, 2,500, I feel like is too tight. Even the 100K, 3K drawdown is still too tight in my opinion. So yeah, you can trade a little bit more freely. I prefer to trade, 2 contracts. So I feel like 5,000 is a good amount. Yeah. So typically you have to trade for about 10 days. You have to trade for 10 days unless you blow a funded account and then sign up for the Express, which is 5 days. I'm hoping OneUp reduces it to 5 days just across the board. But yeah, so once you hit the profit target, you meet the consistency rule, and you've traded for at least 10 days, you just go onto OneUp's dashboard and you submit the account for review. And within an hour or so, you're going to get an email from OneUp saying that, they're reviewing your account. And it can take up to 1 to 2 business days for it to be reviewed. And once it's reviewed, you'll get an email from OneUp saying, fill out the survey. After the survey, they send you the contract to sign. And after you sign the contract, it takes 1 to 2 business days to get the credentials from MES. It's a pretty straightforward process. Well, support is always there for you. One time I had a credit card on file that expired, and my OneUp subscription, which was close to passing, was canceled. I reached out to support, and they, gave me a link. They made it so if I made the payment right away, they were able to renew my credentials with the same analytics with the same analytics that I had prior to the subscription expiring. In general, whenever I need support, I reach out with any concerns. They address it right away. And even with MES, if I need something and MES is not responding for whatever reason, reach out to OneUp support, and they expedite their request to the best of their ability. In general, OneUp has a lot of great qualities. and they do make for an ideal funding partner. I think it's like a seamless prop trading firm to work with. Very strict, no issues when it comes to getting paid, and yeah, just looking forward to working with OneUp and MES in the future.